All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a really big question today. What is an information system?
And I bet I know what you're thinking. Computers, right? Software, networks, all that tech stuff. But what if I told you that's just, well, it's just the tip of the iceberg? That the real idea behind it all is way older and honestly, much more human than any gadget we've got today.
See, to really understand the systems that pretty much run our world, I'm talking everything from how you get your lunch delivered to how global supply chains work.
We're not going to start with some Silicon Valley giant. Nope. We're starting with a small charity that had, the best kind of problem you can have. They got too popular.
And this is where we hit our first big idea. It's called the coordination problem. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's that moment when your success starts to create, well, total chaos.
So let's paint a picture. You've got this small group of amazing volunteers, Meals on Wheels. Their mission is super clear. Figure out who's hungry, get the food, cook it, pack it up, and deliver it. Simple. And when it's just a few people, you can run the whole thing on informal chats and, just being on the same page. But then, boom, word of mouth does its thing. People love what they're doing. And before they know it, the number of subscribers has tripled. Suddenly, what was easy and manageable is turning into a massive headache.
All of a sudden, the questions are flying. Wait, who's cooking on Tuesday? Did anyone order enough carrots? Which driver is supposed to take the north route? How in the world do you keep all these plates spinning without one of them crashing to the floor? That is the coordination problem in a nutshell.
And this story, it's a perfect textbook example of the coordination problem. It's this fundamental challenge that any group of people faces when they're trying to pull together for a common goal. And here's the absolute key takeaway. This is not a technology problem. It is a people problem.
Okay, so how do we fix it? Well, the cool thing is, the blueprint for solving this stuff it's timeless. It's all about finding patterns that can bring order to the chaos.
But first, we've got to get on the same page with two words, data and information. Think of data as just raw ingredients. The number 7, a street name, a list of vegetables. By themselves, kind of meaningless. Information, on the other hand, is when you do something with that data to make it useful. That street name isn't just data anymore. It's information that tells a driver exactly where to turn. So information is basically data with a purpose. It's data we've put to work. So how do we put it to work? We use signs. Now that sounds fancy, but it's super simple. A sign is just anything that stands for something else, right? The word carrots on a shopping list is a sign. A check mark next to a delivered meal is a sign. A red pin on a map. These are the absolute fundamental building blocks we use to communicate and coordinate with each other.
And get this. This whole system of turning raw data into useful information to get stuff done, it is not new. It's ancient. For an incredible example, let's look at the Royal Air Force during the Battle of Britain. They defended an entire country using one of the most brilliant information systems ever created, and they did it without a single digital computer.
Okay, so how did this incredible system work? Let's break it down. Step 1, observation. People on the ground spot enemy planes. That's raw data. Step 2, communication. They get on the telephone and report it to headquarters. Step 3, plotting. This is the magic. People move these little blocks around on a giant map table, turning all those phone calls into a single shared picture of the battle. This is where data becomes information. And from there, steps 4 and 5 are possible. Controllers see the big picture, assess the threat, and dispatch fighter planes to intercept. It's a perfect information system, and it's all run by people, phones, and one seriously big map.
So, you might be asking, if this blueprint is so old, where do computers fit in? Great question. And the answer is, technology is not the system, it's the accelerator. Think of it like this. The blueprint is the car, and technology is the rocket engine we strap to it. Just look at how our tools have evolved. It starts small. Back in the 1840s, someone invents the simple paper form. And you know what? It was revolutionary for standardizing communication. Fast forward to 1953, you get Leo, the first business computer, automating payroll for, of all things, a tea shop company. Then, bam, the 1980s give us the World Wide Web, connecting literally everyone and allowing us to run that same basic pattern on an unimaginable global scale.
So what does this look like today? What's the ultimate expression of this system at scale? Well, we have to talk about a company that is, at its core, a planet-sized coordination machine. Google.
I mean, the numbers are they're staggering.
We're talking more than 1 billion search queries every single day. Think about what that is. Every single one of those searches is a person asking for help to coordinate their world. And every result is Google coordinating a mind-bending amount of data to give that person an answer in less than a second.
Now, of course, when you operate at that kind of scale, it brings up some really big questions. As our source material points out, when one single company effectively becomes the main gateway to all the information online, people start to get concerned. They worry about that much power being in one place, with some even calling it a potential monopoly.
And all of this brings us to what might be the single most important point of this whole explainer. Not a single one of these systems, not the little charity, not the RF's War Room, and not Google, just happened. They didn't appear out of thin air. Every single one was designed, on purpose.
And here's the powerful part. Because they were designed, they can be redesigned. There's this concept of an as-is model, which is just a fancy way of saying, here's how things work today. But then we can create a to-be model, a vision for how we'd like things to work in the future. This means we aren't just stuck. We can make active choices to change the systems all around us.
I love this quote from one of the sources. It says, "To break with convention, you first have to dig up the cowpaths." Isn't that great? Cowpaths. It's this idea that so often we do things a certain way just because, well, that's the path that's already there. But to really innovate, you have to stop, look at that well-worn path and ask, is there a smarter way to get there?
So I want you to start seeing these systems everywhere. The app on your phone you use to order coffee, the official process for how you vote, the software your company uses to manage projects, every single one of them, every information system you touch today was designed by a person.
And that leaves us with one final and maybe the most crucial question of all. The important thing isn't just how these systems work. It's asking who designed them and for whom. For whose benefit do they operate? Because once you start asking that question, well, that's the first real step toward building something better.